You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
A Bay Area Police Department moving forward to expand its surveillance system.
Any data collected in a federated system is subject to the feds getting it.
The heated debate over allowing officers access to privately owned security cameras. Plus, the movement to get California to become its own nation is on pause. But the man behind it says the fight is far from over.
Given that this is a radical political concept, we figured it'd be under high level of scrutiny.
And we are going to meet the scientist rebuilding communities under the sea, the results of a groundbreaking experiment along the walls of the bay. Thanks for joining us this Tuesday. I'm Ann Makovic. We're going to have those stories and lots more right after our news headlines. The trash finally about to be picked up in some Bay Area neighborhoods. This is video from this morning in Richmond, where the city says there will be limited service this week. There will also be some trash pickups in San Pablo. They say pickups might not happen on your usual day, though, so just keep those bins outside. But many other cities across the Bay Area still dealing with major trash buildups in their neighborhoods. Many open temporary trash sites for people to drop off their own garbage, including Union City.
So I was driving through here and I'm thinking, if I didn't see this, but I was expecting large bins, more organized. This is sloppy. I think people might be just driving here and just throwing stuff.
I honestly feel bad for sitting this down because, with the new laws and stuff that they have in effect, they're cleaning up the streets and we're kind of just throwing it right back out there.
We still don't know when trash pickup services will be back in places like Union City and Daly City. It's been about a week since Republic Service workers walked off the job in solidarity with 40 striking workers in Stockton who are fighting for better wages and working conditions. Embattled San Mateo County Sheriff Christina Corpus facing a new legal fight. She appeared in a Redwood City courtroom this morning after a civil grand jury formally accused her of misconduct and corruption. This is a civil charge, so Sheriff Corpus is not facing any jail time, but if a jury does find her guilty, she would lose her job and not be able to run for public office. The sheriff has faced a lot of scrutiny after an independent report accused her of intimidation, retaliation, racism, and homophobia. Corpus denies any wrongdoing. We are learning the identities of two people who drowned in the Russian River on Sunday. The sheriff's office says they are 17-year-old Elon Miranda from Oakland and 31-year-old Pranav Naran from San Francisco. They both drowned in two separate incidents about an hour apart, one at Monterey Beach, the other at Martinelli Beach in Forestville. The chancellor of UC Berkeley testifying on Capitol Hill this morning. Rich Lyons is answering to the House committee investigating reports of anti-Semitism on campus.
In your opinion, does the UAW contribute to anti-Semitism on the University of California, Berkeley campus or in the system?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak to a case that is clearly in litigation, so I won't do that. I think it's also important to understand that unions are independent organizations, right? We don't control them, they don't control us.
The campus is under federal investigation over allegations of violating the civil rights of Jewish students and faculty and for how they handled last year's protests against the war in Gaza. Spokesperson for UC Berkeley says they have taken meaningful action to combat anti-Semitism and all forms of hate. All right, let's get a check on our first alert forecast. A brief cool down, but apparently a warm up is coming next. Here's meteorologist Jessica Birch.
Well, compared to yesterday, our temperatures in our inland spots are slowly starting to cool down. Yesterday, we had plenty of 90s off into the East Bay. Today, we're back into the 80s near Antioch and Livermore and all throughout the Tri-Valley area. You had a little bit more north, places like the North Bay today. Santa Rosa, Napa, and Petaluma are kind of a mixed bag of upper 60s and mid to low 70s in the forecast. You pass the Golden Gate Bridge, suddenly we're talking about 60s all the way down into San Francisco, 80s today in Redwood City along 101, and 80s all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley, making for a beautiful day as we head into this afternoon. We're continuing to keep a close eye on a couple things going on for us here in the Bay Area. Let's start off with that coastal drizzle that we woke up to this morning. Then we're going to see a repeat of that again tomorrow and the next day. So you might need the windshield wipers in the early morning hours. And that fog made its way all the way into the Sacramento Valley this morning through the Delta, but it pulls back along the coast into this afternoon, giving us sunnier skies throughout our inland spots. Still cool and cloudy along the coast in the peninsula, though. And then that fog fills the bay once again later tonight to set up for tomorrow morning, which is going to look very similar to today. Here's what we can expect as we head into this afternoon. Winds starting to get a little bit breezier just by lunchtime and all the way into our dinner time hours tonight. We could see gusts up to around 20 to 25 miles per hour, even breezier for some of our spots like Fairfield, for example. As we head into the next 7 days, another thing I want to mention too, we're going to see small day-to-day changes in the forecast. For our friends along the bay, it's still cool and cloudy each morning, breezier into the afternoon, daytime highs, for now at least, still holding on tight to 60s with some low 70s starting to trickle in there too as we head into our Thursday and Friday forecast, with the weekend right around the corner looking pretty beautiful, but still cool and cloudy in the morning hours. Where that looks a lot different, it's our friends along our inland areas. 80s for now, a warm-up as we head into this weekend.
Oh, some controversy in Oakland. The police department there looking to expand its network of surveillance cameras on city streets. That comes about a year after hundreds of flock license plate readers were installed across the city. Now OPD is looking to integrate privately owned security cameras into the system with property owners' approval. Kevin Coe shows us where those cameras are making a difference and the concerns about how else they could be used.
When Sherry Godinez walks down Telegraph Avenue today, she feels a shift, one she's been working on here for years.
Third generation Oaklander, so I always defend Oakland.
Godinez is the executive director of KONO, the Neighborhood Community and Business Improvement Association of Koreatown Northgate, or KONO for short. In 2022, the group installed 100 of these security cameras covering 15 intersections, which they say led to a nearly 40% reduction in crime.
For a while there, we were getting auto bipping constantly, commercial break-ins all the time. So that's definitely, I won't say gone away, but slowed down to really snail pace. Like no one could just walk in and say, hey, I want video footage from here to here. They had to have a police report number, an incident, the date, the time of window that they needed video from, because it's not a surveillance system. It's a after the fact crime video.
The Oakland Police Department took note and is now looking to expand their network of surveillance cameras across the city. At a recent Privacy Advisory Commission meeting, OPD proposed integrating its automated license plate readers into a broader network that could include hundreds of security cameras.
The platform that we're using currently is the Flock operating system, and we would be basically upgrading that system to then integrate cameras from commercial businesses, potentially public cameras, and then a number of cameras that the department would potentially own and operate.
The proposal would only allow access to live feeds during an active investigation with management approval. It also streamlines video evidence gathering, saving detectives precious time. However, privacy advocates fear the system wouldn't keep everyone safe.
This is a big project, and I'm not looking at OPD here. I'm looking at Donald Trump. That any data collected in a federated system is subject to the feds getting it.
We keep finding out that things that they assure us would never happen kind of are happening.
Tracy Rosenberg is with Oakland Privacy, which found law enforcement agencies in Southern California shared flock data with ICE.
This is definitely the ingredients or the backhaul for what we call kind of police state. It doesn't mean that it's going to be used that way, but the federal stuff going on has kind of showed us that when this stuff is in place, if somebody wants to use it to do scary and terrifying things, well, it's kind of there and it's not so hard.
These concerns are not lost in Koreatown, where Sherry says any expansion of the city's surveillance program must come with guardrails, finding the balance between public safety and privacy.
Because we're not Big Brother, we're not out here trying to watch people. Nobody wants to feel like they're being, monitored or watched.
So the Oakland PD already offers a registry program that allows people and business owners to let police know that they have a security camera that detectives can request footage from. But this proposal would significantly expand the department's surveillance footprint. That comes as a new investigation by the San Francisco Standard found Oakland and San Francisco police have been sharing data from automated license plate cameras with federal law enforcement. That's an apparent violation of state law. The Standard reports OPD did not share the data directly, but it obtained logs that found that other California police departments, including the SFPD, searched Oakland's system on behalf of federal agencies more than 200 times since last August. One search by the CHP was listed as an ICE case. We filed a public records request to learn more information. In 2023, Attorney General Rob Bonta warned law enforcement agencies of a state law prohibiting the sharing of license plate reader data with the feds. The Oakland PD tells us, to be clear, no member of the OPD was involved in the alleged sharing of license plate reader information with ICE. They say on its data sharing request form, it requires all agencies using the system to be in compliance with state law. They say they're verifying that any access to that data remains consistent with state law. Now, following the report, San Francisco Supervisor Jackie Fielder says she is formally requesting information about the decision-making behind the sharing of license plate data with federal agencies. She's also asking whether the police or sheriff's department has ever performed license plate reader searches for immigration purposes. Still ahead here on CBS News Bay Area, a father kills his own 9-year-old son in San Jose. Police say it was all part of a plan to get officers to kill him.
They came intending to save a life, not to take one.
Plus, time is up at a busy shelter site that was designed to be a safe haven for people cleared out of Oakland's largest homeless encampment.
I just got the rest of my clothes I got to put up in this basket, man.
We are going to meet residents trying to grab what they can and why some who live there say there's no excuse for letting this site fall apart. And divers taking part in this living seawall experiment, how studying the sea life there could protect the bay from some long-term effects of climate change.
In the Bay Area, a new WNBA franchise is taking flight. Catch this first-in-a-lifetime inaugural season as the Golden State Valkyries play live on KPIX and Pix Plus.
It's another cool and cloudy morning for us in the Bay Area, but we warm up into this afternoon all the way into the 60s for our friends along the Bay. Eventually, we'll start seeing some 70s, but that's not until Thursday, Friday, heading into this weekend's forecast. We wake up each morning to those cool, cloudy skies, a little bit of that coastal drizzle too, but luckily those clouds pull back from our inland areas along the coast into the afternoon hours, exposing us to plenty of sunshine for our inland spots, with 80s in store for us today and tomorrow, and a gradual warming trend as we head into this weekend's forecast.
Severe storms bringing widespread flooding across the nation's northeast. At least 2 people have died and dozens have been rescued as water overwhelmed roads and subways overnight. The downpours left emergency vehicles and buses stranded on the streets. New Jersey's governor declared a state of emergency and urged people to stay off roadways. 2 people died in the city of Plainfield after their vehicle was swept away by floodwaters. Emergency crews in the area say they rescued people from around 30 homes. Several states were under flash flood warnings. This is video out of New York City, water pouring into the subway station, bringing train service to a halt there above ground. Strong winds and heavy rain ripped through the area, with Central Park recording more than 2 inches in just 1 hour. And recovery efforts resume in central Texas after new flash flood warnings forced crews to pause their efforts searching for victims of last week's deadly flooding. These are some of the same areas devastated just 10 days ago when more than 130 people were killed. State officials say about 100 people are still missing. In San Jose, police shot and killed a man accused of fatally stabbing his own 9-year-old son. They say that he killed the little boy as part of a plot to get officers to kill him. Happened Sunday afternoon at Cataldi Park in the northwest part of the city. Police say they got a frantic 911 call at around 3:30 in the afternoon. They say the person on the other end of the call was actually the father. They say he called police after killing his son and then lured them into shooting him. Our Amanda Harry explains how it unfolded and a warning. The details are disturbing.
Gruesome, unfathomable, senseless. Those are just some of the words being used to describe what happened at Cataldi Park Sunday afternoon. A man stabbing and killing his own son. Police Chief Paul Joseph says in his more than 30 years of service with the San Jose Police Department, he's never seen anything comparable.
The child suffered from injuries so severe that it's unimaginable they could have been inflicted by his own father.
Joseph says Sunday afternoon, dispatch received a call from a man claiming his 9-year-old son was being stabbed by an unknown assailant. Police rushed to the scene.
These officers had no idea that the frantic person on the line was in fact the suspect himself, a deranged man who had murdered his own son, and whose call for help was actually a twisted plan to force officers to shoot him. A final desperate and selfish act. Suicide by cop.
The officers found 48-year-old Matus Gerban of Fremont hunched over a bloody child. He was also covered in blood, and he was holding up a large knife.
Officers pleaded with the suspect to drop the knife so they could render aid to the child. Repeated de-escalation attempts were made, but the suspect refused to cooperate and instead made several statements indicating he intended to be shot by the police.
Joseph says that's when he unexpectedly stood up, knife raised, and charged at officers. 2 officers shot the man, killing him. They rushed over to the boy to render aid, but say it was clear he was already dead.
A bandana covered the child's face, and when officers removed it to assess his condition, they discovered horrific injuries that I will not describe.
Police don't know why the suspect chose Cataldi Park. Josiah Brito walks his dog in the park every day and says it's usually quiet.
It's a chill park, nice family here, nothing ever like that.
Burrito walked by on Sunday when police were on the scene and shot video of it on his phone. He had no idea the gravity of the situation.
It's pretty tragic for the family, for the mom especially. Like, what could his thoughts be to do that? So you gotta be sick in the mind to do that.
Chief Joseph says the suspect had no criminal or mental health record in Alameda or Santa Clara County, but he moved throughout the country.
While we do expect to learn more in this investigation, one thing is certain. We will never be able to make sense of such a senseless loss.
Well, police say they have still not uncovered a motive here. This was San Jose's second fatal police shooting in a week. A former Major League Baseball player with roots in the Bay Area has been convicted of first-degree murder. A Placer County jury found Daniel Serafini guilty of killing his father-in-law and trying to kill his mother-in-law. Prosecutors say he broke into their home in Lake Tahoe back in 2021 and shot them. His mother-in-law survived the attack but has since died. Serafini's sister-in-law spoke after the verdict.
It's been 4 years since my mom and dad were shot, and it's been 4 years of just hell. And the Placer County District Attorney's Office and Sheriff's Office never gave up, and today finally justice was served.
Well, Serafini is from San Francisco and played for several major league teams. He is being held without bail until his sentencing in August. A Walgreens manager has been convicted after a violent confrontation that was caught on camera with a suspected shoplifter. At Walgreens manager, 49-year-old Wong Hong was convicted of assault with force likely to produce great bodily injury. The San Francisco District Attorney's Office says he used keys to attack the suspected shoplifter, Larry Whitlock. This all happened on March 19th at the Walgreens on 18th and Castro. The DA's office says Whitlock shoplifted a bottle of shampoo. He was confronted inside the store by the manager, who took the shampoo away. And then a street camera captured a violent confrontation outside the store. The DA's office says Hong charged at Whitlock and punched him with a key between his knuckles. Hong was arrested and charged with assault with a deadly weapon. Whitlock was charged for battery and petty theft. When we first reported on this, regular customers told us this Walgreens was a frequent target of shoplifters. One of them said he felt bad for everyone involved.
I feel sympathy for both of them. I feel sorry that people are having such a hard time that they're having to shoplift, and I also feel sorry for the people that have to deal with it on a daily basis. Yeah, I feel sympathy for everybody.
Hong is expected to be sentenced on August 15th. The assistant district attorney who prosecuted the case said in a statement, quote, "Store theft is an important issue, but it does not justify an assault that goes beyond self-defense." Mr. Hong's response went far beyond self-defense, and we are thankful that the jury rightly held him accountable. Well, we mentioned the suspected shoplifter was charged with battery and petty theft. The district attorney's office tells us his case is still pending. A longtime pharmacy in San Francisco's Excelsior neighborhood is closing its doors for good today. Central Drug Store on Mission Street has been open for more than a century. Pharmacy opened back in 1908. It's been run by the Tonelli family for more than 60 years. It's joining a growing list of independent city drugstores shutting down, but this closure has nothing to do with crime or competition from online sources. The owner, who has worked in the family business since high school, is retiring. Time is up for people living at 2 West Oakland homeless shelters. The city shutting down the shelters on Wood Street, which until a couple of years ago was the Oakland's largest homeless encampment. The city eventually leased a stretch from West Grand Avenue to 26th, south of the MacArthur Maze, then turned it into a safe parking zone and built some tiny homes for temporary shelter. This is a satellite photo of that site from earlier this year. If you look on the lower left-hand side there, you see the safe parking area was packed with RVs. But those shelters are closing, and everybody had to grab their stuff and get out. Our Lauren Toms was there as people tried to figure out what's next.
As you can see, this is not how it was when it first opened up. A lot of this chaos is created now is because there was no real oversight.
These cabins on Wood Street in Oakland were designed to be a temporary community for people who were experiencing homelessness. People like John Janosko, who says it was here that he was able to get back on his feet.
It just it gave me somewhat of a sense of stability and a somewhat of a foundation where I knew I wasn't going to be evicted, swept, or kicked out or anything. Just provided that stability that I needed. I couldn't be on the streets anymore, and I needed something a little bit more secure and something that it represented like next step getting housing, basically.
But in a matter of a few months, it went from a thriving community run by the nonprofit BOSS, which was contracted by the city of Oakland in 2023, to this. John's former home now abandoned and surrounded by rotting food, needles, and trash.
This is the failure of it right here. Just the failure is that BOSS walked off. That's a failure. You walked off a program that was supposed to be providing for the most vulnerable of our community. Oakland failed.
I spoke over the phone with Donald Frazier, the CEO of BOSS, Building Opportunities for Self-Sufficiency. He says BOSS offered food and support services for at least a year, and the community was thriving until the city of Oakland stopped payments about a year ago.
In July 2024, things got really difficult. And when the payments stopped coming, it just crippled us.
He says he's heard nothing from the city, which had promised a $4 million annual operating budget for the Wood Street cabins in a nearby RV park.
No rhyme or reason, no explanation, no meeting, nothing.
He told me the city has since paid the nonprofit for services through March of this year, but he says BOSS is still owed through May when it ended operations at both sites. In a statement, the city of Oakland tells us it leased the land from a private owner and must return it by the end of this year, adding that repairs will take at least 6 months. The city posted these eviction signs on June 27th, notifying remaining residents, about 20 people, to vacate by July 14th. The Oakland City Council voted last month to decommission the sites. The city says the people who remain on site have been offered shelter, and most have accepted.
I just got the rest of my clothes I got to put up in this basket, man, and then I'm out of here.
Kevin, who's lived here for 8 months, says while he does have somewhere to go for now, it's far short of what the city promised.
We just want to be promised what they said they was going to give us. Just give us a place.
Now, here at the former Wood Street cabins, these residents have officially been evicted. Once a temporary housing solution with a thriving community, now turned back over to its private owner. The cabins you see here slated to be demolished. Former residents left wondering why this program didn't see more support.
Long before the cabins were built, hundreds of homeless people lived at the Wood Street encampment. In 2022, nearly 3 years ago, Caltrans began tearing down the part of the encampment that's on its land. Oakland soon followed suit, clearing out people living on city-owned land. The entire process took months, and that site has been mostly clear since spring of 2023. Still ahead, we are going to meet the researchers examining the living seawall along San Francisco's Embarcadero, how their experiment could pay off as the city looks to remake its waterfronts.
Marine life still finds habitat, and we're just trying to enhance that.
Wind speeds start to kick up a little bit more into the afternoon hours today. About 20 to 25 mile per hour winds along the coast just around lunchtime. It's a similar trend up into Fairfield, and then it gets stronger just a little bit more as we head all the way into the evening hours tonight. So that's what we're gearing up for as we head into the afternoon hours today. Let's take a look at the next 7 days when it comes to those afternoon daytime highs. Low 80s are holding on tight to us all throughout our inland areas for now. Once we head into this weekend's forecast, high pressure starts rolling in from offshore. What does that do for us? Well, I mean, we're already seeing sunny skies. We'll continue to see sunny skies into this weekend, but relative humidity will drop. Temperatures will start to rise. And that's the case throughout all of our inland areas. So mid to upper 80s are in the forecast for us. You head over into the Bay where it's cool and cloudy right now. We still get that influence every single morning. Mind you, it's no sky July right now, and we're continuing that trend as we head into the next couple days. We'll see 70s by Thursday, 70s into Friday, heading into this weekend's forecast. So that's our warm up that we're experiencing. And then heading into next week, we'll start to see a little bit of a cool down.
Well, without a seawall, downtown San Francisco and its vibrant economy would not exist. But the city's existing seawall was built over a century ago. It is old and it's vulnerable to quakes, flooding, and sea level rise. A few months ago, we told you about an innovative experiment that tested out some specially designed tiles that could become part of a new wall. Well, now they've removed the last of the tiles to be sent out to a lab and be tested. Along San Francisco's Embarcadero, a groundbreaking experiment is revealing promising results. At the aging seawall, a diver with the Port of San Francisco carefully removed some experimental tiles. 3 years ago, the port installed them into bay waters. Now, after 2 years of monitoring, 9 tiles were slowly hoisted up, placed into protective bags, and into the hands of scientists from the Smithsonian Environmental Research Center. Each tile has become a thriving new community, packed with marine life.
Even in the midst of the city with all its hard structures, that marine life still finds habitat, and we're just trying to enhance that.
The tiles are part of the Living Seawall pilot project. They have special textured surfaces that are intended to promote biodiversity and support native species.
Living seawalls are this idea of how do we still protect and provide the needs of shoreline defense that a seawall does, but could we add some habitat value to it?
San Francisco's rock and concrete seawall stretches over 3 miles from Fisherman's Wharf to Mission Creek. Built more than 150 years ago, it is deteriorating and at risk.
The seawalls, it's a big continuous piece of infrastructure, but it's sitting on young bay mud and squishy soils, and in an earthquake may and likely move bayward. The other risk, of course, is sea level rise.
The Embarcadero already gets flooded during king tides. Global warming is projected to cause sea levels around the bay to rise between 3 and 6 feet, even more, by the end of the century.
We need to fortify our seawall and our line of defense.
One line of defense: boost the bay's biodiversity. The more species living in the bay, the more resilient and healthy the waters will be as the planet warms.
Here's a sea spider.
As for the tiles, early results show they do indeed promote biodiversity and support native species.
So we want to do something that tips the balance in favor of native species.
From Olympia oysters to seaweed and crabs, scientists have detected 10 different native species living on the tiles. Home, sweet home. Well, the port is expected to begin work on the new seawall next year. It's hoping to finish by 2040. Coming up in the next half hour here on CBS News Bay Area, prepare to pay more for tomatoes. How President Trump's new tariffs are putting California businesses on notice. Plus, the move to make California its own country has hit a roadblock. But the organizer says the fight is not over, how he is shifting his strategy.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Thanks for staying with us this Tuesday. I'm Ann Makovic, and here is another look at some of our news headlines. The trash finally about to be picked up in some Bay Area neighborhoods. This is video this morning from Richmond, where the city says there will be limited service this week. There will also be some trash pickups in San Pablo. They say pickups might not happen on your usual day, though, so just keep those bins outside. Embattled San Mateo County Sheriff Christina Corpus facing a new legal fight. She appeared in a Redwood City courtroom this morning after a civil grand jury accused her formally of misconduct and corruption. This is a civil charge, though, so Sheriff Corpus is not facing jail time. Instead, if a jury finds her guilty, she would lose her job and not be eligible to run for public office. The sheriff has faced scrutiny after an independent report accused her of intimidation, retaliation, racism, and homophobia. Corpus denies any wrongdoing. And the chancellor of UC Berkeley testifying on Capitol Hill today. Rich Lyons is answering to the House committee investigating reports of anti-Semitism on campus. The campus is under federal investigation over allegations of violating the civil rights of Jewish students and faculty, and for how it handled last year's protests against the war in Gaza. Spokesperson for UC Berkeley says they have taken meaningful action to combat anti-Semitism and all forms of hate. All right, let's get another check on our first alert forecast this Tuesday. Here is meteorologist Jessica Birch.
Well, compared to yesterday, our temperatures in our inland spots are slowly starting to cool down. Yesterday, we had plenty of 90s off into the East Bay. Today, we're back into the 80s near Antioch and Livermore and all throughout the Tri-Valley area. You had a little bit more north, places like the North Bay today. Santa Rosa, Napa, and Petaluma are kind of a mixed bag of upper 60s and mid to low 70s in the forecast. You pass the Golden Gate Bridge, suddenly we're talking about 60s all the way down into San Francisco, 80s today in Redwood City along 101, and 80s all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley, making for a beautiful day as we head into this afternoon. We're continuing to keep a close eye on a couple things going on for us here in the Bay Area. Let's start off with that coastal drizzle that we woke up to this morning. Then we're going to see a repeat of that again tomorrow and the next day. So you might need the windshield wipers in the early morning hours. And that fog made its way all the way into the Sacramento Valley this morning through the Delta, but it pulls back along the coast into this afternoon, giving us sunnier skies throughout our inland spots. Still cool and cloudy along the coast and the peninsula, though. And then that fog fills the bay once again later tonight to set up for tomorrow morning, which is going to look very similar to today. Here's what we can expect as we head into this afternoon. Winds starting to get a little bit breezier just by lunchtime and all the way into our dinner time hours tonight. We could see gusts up to around 20 to 25 miles per hour, even breezier for some of our spots like Fairfield, for example. As we head into the next 7 days, another thing I want to mention too, we're going to see small day-to-day changes in the forecast. For our friends along the bay, it's still cool and cloudy each morning, breezier into the afternoon, daytime highs, for now at least, still holding on tight to 60s with some low 70s starting to trickle in there too as we head into our Thursday and Friday forecast, with the weekend right around the corner looking pretty beautiful, but still cool and cloudy in the morning hours. Where that looks a lot different, it's our friends along our inland areas. 80s for now, a warm-up as we head into this weekend.
President Trump has issued an ultimatum to Russia. Reach a peace deal with Ukraine or else. The president set a clock for Russia to get that deal done in 50 days. If they don't, he says he'll impose 100% tariffs on countries that buy Russian oil and gas. Russia has rejected President Trump's ultimatum. The Trump administration has announced new tariffs that could raise the price of tomatoes. It backed out of a decades-old tomato price agreement with Mexico. That move makes way for a 17% duty on most fresh Mexican tomatoes. Reporter Nina Burns spoke with one farmer in Stanislaus County who says he's going to feel the squeeze, just not in the way we would expect.
We've been a market for over 40 years.
Bill Loratelli has been selling fresh produce from his stand in Modesto for more than 40 years. Tomatoes are one of their main crops.
But that includes our grape tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, our heirlooms.
With about 5,000 grown each season.
Well, I think the biggest effect, which is probably 95% of it, would be your grocery stores.
Those homegrown tomatoes are sold right here, and because they're not imported, his stand prices won't be affected. But he does run a small distribution business on the side, supplying taco trucks with imported tomatoes.
We have a small business who supply maybe 20 taquerias and taco trucks combined.
And for that part of his operation, he's expecting to have to raise prices.
If they're talking 30%, probably go up 40%. Have to make a little bit extra just by handling it.
If the tariff is 20%, then you're looking at a price increase potentially of 20%.
But one UC Davis economics professor says that impact likely won't be felt in California.
We're lucky that we have all the produce here. We're looking at much more of an impact in the northern states.
Still, Loratelli doesn't expect a wave of new customers.
Honestly, very little percentage. Only because if they were going to come out here, they'd already be out here.
But says small family farms are still worth showing up for.
We should be trying to promote people like us because not very many left around. You know, I was born here 73 years ago, and there's only one or two left.
Oh, the new tariff could drive up prices in restaurants as well. We talked with a worker at North Beach Pizza in Berkeley. He says he's not too worried about it yet. He just has to make sure to buy products on time to avoid any shortages.
If I don't actually buy in the early on the weeks, that I'll be end up with less amount of the items coming to the store.
Now, this tomato tariff is separate from the 30% tariffs on products made in Mexico and in the European Union that President Trump announced over the weekend. Avelo Airlines is closing its operations at the Sonoma County and Burbank airports. The company released a statement saying that its last flight from the Sonoma County Airport will be on August 11th. They're officially going to close base operations in Burbank in December. Avelo was at the center of controversy in recent months over its acceptance of a contract to fly deportation flights for ICE. But the company cites financial difficulties as the reason for its exit from Sonoma County and Burbank. With a week until the signature deadline, the leaders of the California secession movement, Cal Exit, pulled their attempted ballot initiative, but plans to refile it are already in motion with the goal of making California an independent nation. The movement's leaders say that they got close to the goal, but they don't want to risk not meeting the threshold required. Our Max Darrow spoke with the movement's leader, who says they are doubling down on the effort and thinks a new approach will be the solution.
After months of signature gathering for a ballot initiative, the Cal Exit secession movement is taking a detour. Marcus Ruiz-Evans is a leader of the movement.
We are going to refile the ballot initiative so that we can start the clock back for 5.5 months.
Proponents had until July 22nd to submit just under 547,000 signatures to the Secretary of State's office for the initiative to qualify for the 2028 ballot.
We felt that we had the requisite number of signatures, but we did not have the insulation amount. So you want to get about 550,000 signatures, but most people will tell you you need an additional 100 to 300,000 because a lot of those signatures will be invalidated. Given that this is a radical political concept, we figured it'd be under high level of scrutiny.
The initiative would not be a vote for California to actually secede. It would put the non-binding question, should California leave the United States and become a free and independent country, on the 2028 ballot, and if passed, it would create an official commission to study California's viability as an independent nation.
There are some people that are going to say, Marcus, Cal Exit failed. What do you say to those people?
I say based on what? We didn't get enough signatures this time? Okay.
He points towards other movements like the legalization of marijuana and gay marriage that took several attempts and many years to come to fruition.
Both of those movements took about 10 to 12 years to go from that'll never happen to full-blown legality.
Ruiz-Evans says they're changing their approach, the strategy shifting from a grassroots feel to that of a professional operation. And as tensions continue to rise within the current political atmosphere,
climate's riper than ever, and the soil's more fertile than it's been in 10 years.
Marcus says there are some big outreach events coming, and they plan to increase educational strategies so they can clear the next threshold on the next go. The deadline to refile is in mid-August, and they're hoping to start gathering signatures in September. Coming up next, marine scientists studying one of the world's top predators. We're going to take you on a boat ride to show you how sharks are impacting our ocean's ecosystem.
It's another cool and cloudy morning for us in the Bay Area, but we warm up into this afternoon all the way into the 60s for our friends along the Bay. Eventually, we'll start seeing some 70s, but that's not until Thursday, Friday, heading into this weekend's forecast. We wake up each morning to those cool, cloudy skies, a little bit of that coastal drizzle too, but luckily those clouds pull back from our inland areas along the coast into the afternoon hours, exposing us to plenty of sunshine for our inland spots, with 80s in store for us today and tomorrow, and a gradual warming trend as we head into this weekend's forecast.
Sharks are among the top predators in the animal kingdom who help regulate the complicated food chain in our oceans. Marine scientists are now studying how the food they eat can be used to study the health of our oceans. Our Elizabeth Cook hopped aboard a ship in the Pacific to show us how.
Oh my gosh, there he is. Pulling a 7-foot-long shark out of the water turned out to be a lot easier than you might expect. Hey, look what I caught. Marine scientists from Oregon State University do this so they can study them and learn from them. I got you.
Crank him up to your clutch.
Hi. Dr. Taylor Chappell directs the university's Big Fish Research Program.
Whether this male is mature or not.
So what kind of shark is this?
So this is a broad-nosed 7-gill shark.
He doesn't seem to mind that you're doing all these things to him.
They get pretty chill when they're on the boat.
Yeah.
So we've got an aerator coming through. So right now he's calm. So your job, you're going to take your hand, you're going to hold his nose right here.
Okay. These fish, sharks, are the best way to understand not just how they live, but where they live. A healthy shark means a healthy ocean. I got it all under control. Don't worry. Don't worry. Oh my God.
Good. You got it. Nice.
Dr. Chappell and members of the university team have studied 350 sharks in this one bay.
Total 221.
Willapa Bay in the state of Washington, just north of the Oregon border. There are 15 different kinds of species in and around the area. Now, why this species right now?
So 7 gills are really an indicator of the health of your ecosystem and the ones that maintain and manage the ecosystem.
Sharks are an apex species, meaning they are at the top of the food chain. If what they are eating is healthy, then that is an indicator of the health of the water. And that matters too for many of the people who live here and depend on fishing for their livelihoods.
So we'll actually collect the stomach contents from the individual shark.
Part of the examination Jess Schulte will do is figure out what the sharks are eating.
Right.
She is working on a PhD on sharks' diet. And today, another shark.
They're also generalist predators, so they'll eat basically whatever's in front of them.
Even if it's another shark.
Even if it's another shark.
Back in the lab, what they learn from the shark is analyzed.
We've actually got a jaw here of some animal.
No surprise, this is a healthy shark. Has it been difficult to get people to care about sharks because of, frankly, the bad rap they've gotten over the years?
Yeah, people are interested in sharks. They like to watch a show about sharks, but when it comes to people opening their wallet to support the research, it's really, really difficult.
But because of what he and his team have been able to do here, they can say this one bay is healthy. You're free, buddy. You did great.
She's braver than I. The Golden State Valkyries heading to Seattle for their next game tomorrow against the Storm. Valkyries dropped a close one to the Phoenix Mercury at Chase Center yesterday. They fought back from an early deficit and hit a season-high 14 threes. But a foul in the final seconds handed Phoenix the win. Final score 78-77.
I thought we fought and played extremely hard, and for us to make, big plays down the stretch, and then they get a call, so they get to win it off a free throw with 1 second. I mean, just all I'm asking for is consistency. It's just unfortunate that we're not coming out with a W because of a free throw call, of a physicality that I didn't even see when, certain players are just running us over and being super physical, and then they're going to call that. I just, kind of disappointed.
Tomorrow's game against the Storm airs live on Pix Plus 44 Cable 12. Our coverage starts at 11:30 a.m. Coming up, the nominees have been revealed for the 77th Annual Emmy Awards. We're breaking down who's in the running for the highest honors in television, including a veteran movie star in his 80s who earned his first Emmy nomination ever. The nominees for the 77th Annual Primetime Emmy Awards have just been announced.
Here are the nominees for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series.
In that category, Sterling K. Brown for Paradise, Gary Oldman, Slow Horses, Pedro Pascal, The Last of Us, Adam Scott, Severance, and Noah Weil, The Pit. Severance earned 27 nominations overall, followed by 24 nominations for The Penguin. The White Lotus and The Studio each earned 23 nominations, and 83-year-old Harrison Ford earned his first Emmy nomination ever for his role in the sitcom Shrinking. You can find the full list of nominees on cbsnews.com. This year's Emmy Awards airing Sunday, September 14th on CBS and streaming on Paramount+. Thanks for streaming, Sarah. CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ann Makovic. We're going to be right back with your first alert forecast and another look at your top story.